Hello, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's review. I am so excited to get into today's review. I watched this film on the weekend? Yeah, I think I watched this film on the weekend and I gotta be honest, I was not thinking that this was gonna go well. I thought, nah. I knew I had to watch it because this was a film that was personally sent to me. Like, hi, will you watch this film? And I went, oh crap. I said yes, and I kind of was grateful that I got sick and I couldn't watch and review it, because I was so worried that I was going to hate this film. Like, I very strongly believed it, and yet I ended up so happy afterwards. It's the first time in ages I've been excited to do a review, so I've really been counting down the days before I was going to get in front of the camera and talk about this film. So without further ado, because I'm so excited, let me give you my thoughts on Reel. Reel is a 2015 found footage horror film written and directed by Chris Goodwin. One of the sickest bloodbaths in horror movie history occurs after a deranged stalker becomes obsessed with real-life horror film critic Todd Smith. I've made it no secret that I have a deep loathing for the found footage genre. As much as I love and adore horror, it doesn't prevent me from hating the subgenre that is found footage. Given over the years I have stumbled upon a nugget or two, but was I wowed by them? Actually, I was more wowed by how terrible they were. So you can imagine my apprehension when Slasher Victim 666, that's not a joke, DMs me asking me to review this film. Instantly, I can see this is a very interesting marketing technique where the killer from the film is asking people to review his film. This person does not break character at all, and it was both creepy and annoying. Having now watched the film, I can say that was actually brilliant. I put off watching this because I feared I would hate it. I was not prepared at all to end up loving this film. This was the first film in ages where I was blown away and excited to review it. I haven't been excited to review anything since I don't know when. Up until now, it was starting to feel like a chore, but this film has given me so much that I'm so excited to talk about it. So let's break this down. This film is a lot of things. It's so much more than your average found footage film. It acknowledges, addresses, and even uses found footage tropes, but it does so in a way that both pays tribute to them and mocks them, which makes them feel rejuvenated instead of the same old tired thing. The film is narrated to an extent by psycho killer and filmmaker Slasher Victim 666, who has become obsessed with YouTube horror movie reviewer Todd Smith and wants him to star in his latest film, which is this film. This film pays tribute to so many horror films and makes references to so many of them, some subtle, some not so subtle. Moments don't make sense or add up, and the brilliance of this film is they don't have to. The film itself is both a love letter to Todd Smith and a grand statement of a psychotic filmmaker declaring, "This is what I can do." The reason why I say love letter is the way certain elements are filmed. Some scenes are shot as literally a camera up against a computer screen. So it's a person live watching this YouTuber they're obsessed with. It's not copy and paste and download and reuse the footage. It is in the moment capturing obsession. You're watching a stalker actively stalk someone, multiple someones actually. You're seeing voyeurism in its purest form. These are my favorite shots because they're so raw and unclean that it speaks to the character filming it. It speaks almost to all of us who live vicariously through the lives of people we see on the internet to an unhealthy degree. There are moments where the film is focused on Todd, and then it takes a moment where Slasher Victim 666 wants us all to know about him, what he's like, what his life was like, what his upbringing was like, and why he has formed a connection with Todd. We are seeing him openly show how depraved his family life is, and the way it's done so unashamedly and without any emotion shows how disconnected to the events the killer is. He's showing and talking about murder and incest like it's a casual dinner conversation about what they did that day. The way those scenes are shot is also vastly different from the other shots in the film. It speaks to the state of mind and connection to the people on screen. Everything revolving around Todd is raw and intimate and very invasive, which is what makes it creepy. It's almost like he's seeking approval, and then we find out he kind of is. I'm reminded of this episode of Criminal Minds. A woman has been stalked over like a year and her stalker sends her pictures of himself. Never his face, but sends pictures of his biceps, his hair, his abs to show that he's improving physically and becoming something he thinks she wants. The way our filmmaker in this story talks about and depicts himself reminds me of that. This person who is completely detached from reality. 3/4 of this film feels like 100% like a stalker's love letter. It feels like if I stepped outside my door and found a package addressed to me and it was a video about me. You watch it and realize, holy shit, someone has been watching me, and they edited together this tribute to me using footage I had put online, and then footage they gained by stalking me, put it all together using their free editing software, included creepy sound bites and music, and sent it to me to impress me. I would be terrified and call the cops. It's perfectly filmed imperfectly, if that makes sense. It's meticulously designed to appear like an amateur project, but it's done so well it feels real. It all feels so unhinged and disturbing that it's genuinely creepy. I have been stalked, and that person did weird shit that I can't rationalize, and this film is that to a T. That's why I'm saying elements in this don't need to make sense, because we're meant to understand this is the product of a deeply disturbed mind, and someone who is this psychotic isn't gonna make sense. What they do makes sense to them, not to us. This film nails all these things so brilliantly that it's hard not to feel like it's real. Haha. It's the most realistic found footage film I've ever seen. The way it's filmed, the fact a fictional psycho killer is in real life DMing people saying, review my film, in the creepiest way possible, and then to solidify this story, there's a real YouTube channel for Todd Smith to sell the illusion. It's a very real channel featuring all the videos that appear in this movie, but in their natural form. It's fully prepared to dive headfirst and make you believe Todd is real. He's a real YouTuber, and there is a crazy person selling us a snuff film. I'm truly blown away by the level of detail and dedication to the concept, even in marketing. However, I do have one con. When the film is approaching its final act and we get to the unfortunate brutal torture of YouTuber Todd, I have mixed feelings. On the pro side, the special effects used to sell this torture scene were 100% old school and 100% effective. Now, I'm not a gore novice, so I can spot some of the techniques, but the execution is phenomenal. The way they achieved making all these injuries look like they were happening in the moment and were able to sell the brutality of them while simultaneously replicating and paying homage to scenes from various horror films and Quentin Tarantino films like Reservoir Dogs, to the point this film is even dedicated to him, is mind-blowing. I was talking the other day about the merits of gore and when a film uses them right and when a film uses them wrong. This film got it 100% right and waited until the perfect time to pull out the over-the-top gore. Where the cons appear for me is in the who is performing the torture. It's not our filmmaker Slasher Victim 666, which is what I assumed we were leading up to, this one-on-one confrontation, but instead it's his family who are acting like a weird mix of Jackass and the rednecks from Deliverance. While everything they were doing was effective, the number of them and their personalities was such a drastic shift that did not connect with anything we had seen or established thus far. It felt like we had gone in a very different and strange direction during this portion of the film, and so while I was very impressed by the effects, how that scene was playing out and the characters involved just did not work for me, and it was the first time I was becoming disconnected from the film. The film luckily doesn't end there. It has a couple of extra pieces to give us before concluding, and I was very grateful for that because then it felt like it ended in the right way and ended on a tone that was in keeping with the rest of the film. It's a shame because up until this moment, this film was a slam dunk. It was an unmistakable 5 out of 5 and would have been the first time I ever gave a solid marks to a found footage film. But then this one scene happened and it just slightly lowered the overall film just enough to make it lose full mark status, and I'm bummed because I was so excited to have found a film of this nature that I couldn't fault. Nevertheless, this one part aside, it is an impeccable film that perfectly executes so many different elements and themes. If you love horror, if you love gore, if you love found footage, then I can't encourage you enough to give this film a go. I still can't believe how much I loved it, and I think fans of the genre are really gonna get a kick out of this. So I immediately messaged our psycho killer after I watched this saying that I had just watched the film, that I didn't want to reveal too much, and I said my review will be up within the week, so that's this week. Actually, it's right now. And I said all I can say is I can't wait to see Reel 2, which, as far as psycho killer stalkers go, he was very generous and has given me access to Reel 2, which is officially out this year, and he has sent it to me, so I'm definitely going to be watching that this week. And so you can expect possibly a review for the sequel either later in the week or next week. But yeah, I mean, if I'm giving this much praise to a found footage film, oh my god, if you are a found footage fan, definitely check this out. So I will put a link in the description box to /victim666's Twitter account, so if you can't get access to this film and you are interested in watching it, I will tell you where you can find this psycho and you can get access to the film yourself. And I highly recommend, if you do watch the film, there's another link I'm putting in the description box. Don't click that link until you have seen this film, because otherwise it's going to ruin it for you. But I will put a link to Todd Smith's YouTube channel, because seriously, if you watch the film and then you go to Todd Smith's YouTube channel, it's just this beautiful life imitating art, art imitating life symbiosis thing that honestly, it blew me away. I'm very excited to watch the sequel, which, like I said, I now have, but I'm also so very apprehensive because it's so rare for a sequel to live up to the original, especially when the original, in my opinion, is this good. But I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that I'm gonna enjoy it, and maybe the sequel will be when I finally give a found footage film like solid 5 out of 5 marks. I don't know. Here's hoping. But anyway, that is it for today's video. If you have by some chance had the privilege of seeing Reel, then please comment down below and tell me what you thought of this film. I would love to hear from you. Thank you as always to my incredible patrons. Thank you so much for all your continued support. That is it for today's video. I am freezing, so I'm gonna go and defrost. But until next time, bye.